everybody. Our show is Spiritual Exploration, and I'm Christine Schiavone. Tonight we're doing part 2 of a 3-part series on dreams. And the reason that we're doing it in 3 parts is because there's so much information. This is our June taping. The 3rd part won't be coming out till late September. We'll be taping it in September. But part 1 has been showing, and now this is part 2. I would like to reintroduce my guest, Judy B. Gardiner. Hi, Judy. Thank you for coming back for part 2. And a very welcome to you. I know that tonight we're going to talk about dreaming insights into Mother Earth. Now, first, please explain, what does that mean, dreaming insights into Mother Earth?
Okay, well, the way this all began was I started to record my dreams in 1994. And of course, they were all about me and my personal life and my relationships and so forth. And I started to receive information that was very puzzling to me, that didn't seem to have anything whatsoever to do with me personally. And little by little, I was seeing that I was receiving information about the Earth, but it came disguised in ways that were really bizarre. And I had mentioned this a little bit in the last interview, where I was dreaming about my mother's floors all the time. And she had acid on her carpets, or she would have urine on the floors, or potassium on her carpets. And this was not like my mother. I mean, she didn't walk around with acid on her floors.
No, well, I guess who does, right?
Right, right. So then I started to get more puzzling images, and little by little I was piecing them together, and I was realizing that my birth mother in my dreams had transformed to Mother Earth.
Oh.
And as a result of that, my whole study, which was a 15-year study, evolved into a sort of an anthology of our Earth and what is happening to our Earth. So it began with a personal dream, and then it evolved to something that I call the cosmic dream, which means that the cosmic dream is one where we transcend ourselves. So if you think about what the difference is between a personal dream and a cosmic dream, a personal dream gives us insights into our private lives and our relationships. They help us with our identity, and they are more emotional. A cosmic dream is where a personal issue will morph into dreams that transcend beyond the self. That's what happened to me, but I didn't know it was happening for a long time. I was really struggling with what to do with all of this. Once we're able to do that, we make that shift into sort of a higher consciousness, into a higher dimension where we're looking at more worldly issues. Not that we lose our individuality, but we're looking at things that are concerning the planet as a whole. So cosmic dreams are more informational, they're more concrete, they're more objective, they seem to stress matter more over emotion, whereas a personal dream, you know, we can wake up and be fearful or be joyous. This is a very different kind of dreaming. But one thing it does do is that when we become involved in something higher, we have these oceanic feelings of connection to the universe. I mean, into all forms of animal and plant life and earth and everything.
I think that's why we have these kinds of dreams, because Mother Earth is kind of talking to us in a way.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that more and more people are beginning to have these dreams. You know, you have to be able to talk about it first, because if you don't know what's happening, you can't talk about it. But more people are having these dreams, and I think that Mother Earth is such a vital part of us. You know, we're in a very synchronous relationship with her. So if she doesn't make it, she's depending on us, and we're depending on her.
Yeah, and look at the mess we've been making here, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of this is coming through my dreams, which I'll be getting into. So I realized that so much of this is coming through what is commonly known as the third eye. That's our seat of insight.
Right.
A lot of people say that psychic abilities come through that. It's also known as it's also called the pineal gland. And so that when we open up that gland to our consciousness, we are really able to understand what insight is. And it's just like a little pea-sized gland, which is between the two hemispheres of our brain. So I started to think about insight and how insight works. It's not from thinking about things, because our minds are always so busy thinking about things. It's really learning how to have a quiet mind, and it gives us clear vision. So, you know, you always hear the word clairvoyant, which is meaning that we can have vision at a range beyond what is normal.
In other words, you can see spirit.
You can see spirit, and you can see many things that you don't even know about. And many people they believe that this dreaming is a gateway to another world.
I guess that's possible, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, people have dreams about, you know, being taken to other planets and so forth. I mean, that's not what this is about. Right. But people do go beyond themselves. You hear about out-of-body dreams and things like that.
Out-of-body experiences, yeah.
Right. So I think insight is really seeing within, not thinking, though. That's a hard one. And then comes intuition. And again, we need a quiet mind if we're going to be intuiting things. So we have to focus our attention on what is happening in waking life and noticing how it feels at that very moment. So intuition is knowing, it's inner knowledge. And if you think of the word tuition, you know, tuition is education.
Right, to pay for education.
And so we are paying through life's lessons by intuiting, by understanding, you know, mistakes we might have made in the past, and then looking at them and being able to intuit what might be coming next. And then the third of the three eyes is instinct, and that's more of a feeling and sensing way of dealing with things. So, you know, when we sense something is scary, like maybe there's a bear around the corner, or we get scared and excited about something, so we can't see it. Right. But we know it's there.
Well, even animals have instincts about about things, especially when, you know, wild animals and such.
Yes, and I mean, the instinctual nature of an animal in a dream is really telling us something about ourselves. I mean, this is very interesting. What kind of an animal comes into your dream? Is it a big mountain lion, or is it a little cuddly pussycat? Or, you know, I mean, it can be. So instinct can make us feel and sense. So thinking about the third eye, that's how I came to these three eyes: insight, intuition, and instinct. And so if we think about seeing, thinking, and feeling as modalities that can guide us through life and help us in our dreams. So this really sets the stage for being open enough to welcome in our dreams, because so many people say, well, I don't dream. And of course,
they just don't remember.
They don't remember. We all dream at least an hour a night.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So this is a little reminder for the audience that might have seen the first interview that it's very important to have a dream journal to start one, even if it's a little pad of paper next to your bed. The way I do it is I just take blank paper and I draw a vertical line down the middle. And on the left, I record all of the action, the dialogue, the narrative, you know, anything that was being said or what was happening in the dream. And that is the left, which is the left side of the brain, which is the more analytical. And on the right side of the pad, I should have brought one, but on the right side of the pad is where we put our images. And that's the more creative.
So like if you dream of a car, you draw a picture of a car?
Yeah, and I have a lot of examples of that.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure, yeah, we're going to see them.
Right, and it's amazing how it works because they say is a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it really does work that way. So I have 5 steps that I say are for dream detectives. I have a little primer for dream detectives on my website. And
what is your website?
It's www.cosmicdreaming.com.
www.cosmicdreaming.com.
And if they go to the link that says kaleidoscopic vision, the primer is right there. But I'll just run through the steps.
So that's where you would find these steps online?
Online.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'll run through them,
Yes.
and then you'll see, because then the rest of this is illustrative of the dreams that I think show a direct correlation to how we can evolve, and you know how it tells us about our future and our destiny, not just our destiny, our collective destiny. So the first step would be into detecting a breakthrough dream, and that means something that comes along that is really unusual, something that is foreign to you, that you haven't seen or thought about before.
In other words, dreaming about something that's never really crossed your mind.
Never crossed your mind, and it's totally out of place. Now for me, it was the optic nerve, because I didn't have a background in that, and I didn't have a background in physiology or anything, and I just didn't know exactly what it was, other than it was a little nerve that was attached to the brain.
Has to do with the seeing with the eye, right?
Yeah, very much so. It projects our visual images. Oh, so there is the optic nerve, and in that dream, I'm in a hospital. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm serving tea.
So you're not a patient, you're...
No, I'm serving.
You're serving. So you dreamt that you were serving tea in a hospital?
In a hospital. Well, the first thing was that I saw this key ring, and I didn't know what it was. I just saw that there were 5 keys. And in the dream, I said, but there might be 6. So what are the 5 keys?
So there's keys to something.
They were keys to something, which I'll get to.
Okay.
And then, okay, well, that is a close-up
of the key ring.
Of the key ring. And if you can see the little light in the middle,
right,
might be the third eye.
Ah.
And the 5 keys would be the 5 senses.
Oh, so that's, oh, okay.
So.
And then the 6 would be the 6th sense.
It would be sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. And then I was identifying, well, then the next step, second step would be to isolate fragments that are really bizarre, that just, make no sense whatsoever. And that would just be like a piece of a dream, not a whole dream. And then the third step is, and this is important, where you have images or words or feelings that keep repeating, because this is how you establish a theme. You can't do this in one dream. You have, that's why I so heartily recommend the dream journal, because you have to have like at least 3 or 4 dreams to be able to connect one to another.
In other words, make the full story out of, and it would have to be 3 or 4 dreams to make the whole story.
Exactly, exactly.
Because I don't remember having 3 or 4 dreams that would tell one story.
Okay, well, they probably do.
Maybe I didn't,
yeah.
I just don't remember.
Right, right. Well, and it's also sort of training ourselves to look for all the pieces, because, you know, we have a tendency just to look at the bigger picture, but it's, you know, it's all the little parts that make the whole.
I know, because in a few dreams that I've discussed with you, I don't want to go into them right now because we're, you know, doing this, but you would ask questions that would absolutely like make me pick the dream apart and then come to conclusions because of the questions. Oh yeah, like the dream I told you about the dresses, 3 dresses, and you said, and you started asking questions, and I came out with the fact that they were all different shades of gray.
Right, shades of gray.
So there's something about shades of gray that I have to pay attention to.
Right. And that it's not black and white.
Right,
and
right.
Whatever it is, it could be a person or a situation.
Right.
But whatever it is, it's not, shades of gray is not completely clear.
And I would have to actually look into it more to understand it.
Right. And then from that dream, there may be another dream that might not say shades of gray, but it would have the same meaning. It would convey the same meaning of something maybe of ambivalence.
In other words, some other story could say the same, some other dream could tell the same story.
But in different words.
In different words, right, right.
So it's really, that's where being a detective really comes in. And then once we start clustering and connecting all these images, what happens is that we come upon a theme, okay? For my theme, it was my mother. But my mother became Mother Earth. So
is your mother still with you?
Well, no, my mother has passed on. It was a difficult relationship. So, you know, there needed to be a lot of work. And I felt that it was really resolved. She had Alzheimer's for 7 years, yeah. So during that time, you know, there was a real shift in our relationship. And it was for the positive, even though it was very sad. And I felt as though there really was resolution.
Well, that was good that you got closure.
Yeah, it felt like that. And I think that's part of how she morphed into Mother Earth, because I didn't have to deal with the personal problems. Right. You know, I mean, that's just one possibility.
It could also be that that you're being told that that your or our, as a human race, relationship with Mother Earth is kind of rocky.
Yeah, well, that was exactly. That's excellent. That's really good.
I'm getting there, huh?
I'm putting you to work here. But that's true. I mean, and Rocky, it's funny you say Rocky.
That's right.
Because I'm like into those rocks. We have some rocks coming up on the screen.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then the last step is the most exciting, because that's manifestation, what I call manifestation, and that's where a dream or a dream image or a series of dreams can actually manifest in waking life.
It could also actually come true, like a prophetic kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have some of those too to show us. So that is very exciting, because when that happens, you know you're on the right track.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that is really thrilling. So while it may not have all the emotional vibrancy of a personal dream for me, seeing these rocks that I had dreamt about that were lavender, and then seeing them in a place that I had never been before in my life, with rocks splashed with lavender paint, with a town full of fire hydrants and poles that were colored lavender. I mean, this was all in like little remote villages in Newfoundland. It was just mind-boggling, and you know, that's only like a little bit of some of the things that were coming to be. There's the lavender.
Right.
So now I think that Mother Earth now is going to illustrate what these three eyes are: the insight, the intuition, and the instinct. And just to go back to the optic nerve for a minute, when I was in Copenhagen, that was in 1994, I started to distribute lights for SAD, that's seasonal affective disorder, for people who do not produce enough melatonin and during the winter months, and they get very sad. That's why they call it SAD. They get depressed.
Yeah, they don't get enough sun.
They don't get enough sun because of the long, dark winter days.
Especially in that part of the world where they have 6 months
Right.
of darkness and 6 months of light.
Right, and so their rhythm, their circadian rhythm is all thrown off.
They have a high suicide rate in it.
They do,
yeah.
in all the Scandinavian countries. And I realized as I was doing this that SAD sufferers require more sunlight to shut off melatonin. And where is that production but in the pineal gland? So they're the pineal gland. So here we are back to the pineal gland and the optic nerve. Also, Descartes, the French mathematician, called that the seat of the soul. And he was the first one to connect mind and body. It's very popular today.
Right.
But when you go back to the 16th century...
Oh, well, sure, we had a long way to go
he was a little ahead of his time, right. And another thing that's interesting about this third eye is that I understand from people who practice yoga that the color violet, when they're doing the chakras, that the color violet is the color that has the highest frequency for the third eye.
Wow.
Yeah, I never knew that. I mean, I just learned that recently.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. So now we're going to go to this optic nerve dream, which we did a minute ago. Let's see, well, we also did the close-up. Let's see, we should go to the Bible dream now.
Now, now these are all like common dreams that you're talking, the optic nerve, the Bible?
Well, the Bible is that's a dream that they have.
There we go.
Here we go. Okay. So the way this dream, I don't know how much of it you can see, but it starts off with a Bible. So we'll take it piece by piece. So, and there there's a, you'll see that there's a lighthouse there. And there's also sunshine, a lot of sunshine.
Right.
Okay. And then there's this V, this
upside
down V.
Yeah.
And there's a blank space to the left. And I thought, oh, that's so unusual. So what this turns out to be, and this was just my feeling about my own dream, was that blank V, I mean the black V, the stone, I describe it as a black stone, was magma. Lava is what comes out of a volcano.
Right.
But before the volcano erupts, there's magma underneath.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
So, neither did I, for a long time. So what happens is that the magma comes up, and that's why it's upside down, because
it's coming up like that.
Yeah, it's coming from below.
And it's pushing up.
It's pushing up. And so interesting that would be in a dream that has a Bible, which is spiritual, Bible and light.
Right, right, right.
What could be more spiritual? A real spiritual presence. And that was, that was a very early dream that gave me a feeling that there was something more to be explored. And then the blank space on the left is, I don't know if you know, have you ever heard of the blank spot, the blind spot? It's an area on the retina, and it's where the beginning of the optic nerve on the retina, or it's called the optic nerve head or the optic disc. And the reason it's blind is because there's no photoreceptors. There are no rods or cones in that particular part of our eye, so we can't see light.
Really? Wow, that's interesting.
We can't see light. So the image that falls on that region cannot be seen. And they even have little tests on the internet where you can, you can cover your hand with one eye and then just start looking at, whatever their information is. And after a while, there'll be a black dot, and that dot will just disappear because your eye has entered the region where that blind spot is.
Ah.
So I think the blind spot has a lot to do with, metaphorically, with how we are. We have a lot of blind spots.
Oh, sure.
And it was...
There's a lot of things that we just don't see.
Exactly. And I wasn't seeing, at that point, I wasn't seeing that, I was on this journey of lava, which turns out to be lava under, and that's how it got to be called Lavender.
Excuse me. I get it.
So it's kind of a play, it's a real play on words. And also I had many lavender symbols in my dreams. And so, they were coming at me from every which way.
Well, that's why it was an appropriate name for your book.
Right.
Which you can Google your name to find the book to see if you want to get it online.
Yes, and that would be Judy B. Gardiner. And I say B because there's another Judy Gardiner who's also an author.
Right.
And writes about a very different subject matter.
Uh-huh, okay.
So the next dream I'll share is keys. It's about keys. And this is the dream that gave me the first inkling that I was writing about something that was more than my dreams. There should be keys shown.
They're going to put up the one with keys? There it is.
There it is.
There you go.
Okay. So you can see that they're on a bed, okay?